Greetings, Starfinders. A little bit easy, maybe, but hey, it's a Miniatures Rundown. I'm CJ. That's Josh. Now, Josh, you have enough of background in RPGs to be dangerous, right?
D&D is how I got into minis.
Okay.
I started playing, painting them to use for our D&D games when I was actually DMing.
Yeah.
But I never played any other RPG besides Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So
okay.
But however, I roomed with a guy who was a Pathfinder person in college. And, Pathfinder was what the people I hung out with in college played. So I have a working knowledge of Pathfinder.
Okay.
Enough to know basically what it is and what the differences are. It's essentially, D&D 3.5. We didn't like 4.0. We made our own with blackjack and hookers.
To whatever extent that ended up with. But okay,
although I know nothing about Pathfinder 2.
Pathfinder 2 is a completely different beast.
Except that it came out.
Yeah.
Good for it.
Yeah. So Starfinder is... Okay, so if Pathfinder is D&D 3.75, this is 3.888888 repeating.
In space,
yeah.
So I guess that's just Spelljammer.
This is way different than Spelljammer.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just making a joke because Spelljammer
which is a shame because I thought Spelljammer was rad. And now
this is actually science fiction.
Yeah. This is more sci-fi than sci-fantasy.
Yes.
But so let's... I've played a bunch of Starfinder. I like it well enough, though getting me out of D&D 5.0 or 5 point whatever it is now, 5.1.
It's 5 point in perpetuity.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's 5 point. I like that game I like that game a whole lot better because it's less number crunchy. Anyway, but I saw this and I was just like, you know what? Let's take a look see at what's in here. What does this actually come with? And Josh, I want you to think about, like, as you're watching the reaction to this, I want you to think about how simple it looks to get into it. Does this appeal to you? Is there anything appealing about this in general? All right, so we have your standard array of dice.
Well, that's still worth noting because it does use the standard array of polyhedrals, correct?
Yes, correct.
Because last RPG I played was Soulbound, which, like all other Warhammer products written by law in the Queen's blood, it uses D6s only.
Yep.
So that is of note, I suppose. It is a D20 system, for lack of a better term.
Yes, it is a D20 system. It is SRD, standard rules, design, whatever it means. D20 system, just like Pathfinder, just like D&D 3.0, just like D&D 5th edition as well.
Yes.
So, and it comes with a bunch of token standees, which are always useful, but I'm not going to get those out. So before you go any further, read this page to help you get started with the beginner's box. If you're on your own, good luck, nerd. It actually has a solo adventure.
I was about to say, I saw on the back of the box that this does have a solo adventure.
Yes.
Which is interesting because I'm pretty sure this came out pre-COVID. Or it was at least
or close to
made pre-COVID. It might not have printed and come out.
Yeah.
But COVID was what kind of spawned the oh God, we need to have solo versions of our games. And the fact that this comes with that previously was kind of maybe a hit of the tide.
Yes. If you want to be a hero and start playing now, you can grab one of the pre-gens. Make your own character with what they have in the book. If you want to be the GM, I'm sorry. Read the book. Oh, and it comes with... You're the proud owner of promo cards for Munchkin Starfinder and Munchkin Pathfinder. Paizo.
Munchkin, the game that is less fun the more you know how to play it.
Yeah, Munchkin. I'd rather just get attacked by a bunch of Munchkins. So, hey, these are condition cards for everybody at the table, conceivably. And what you can do on your turn.
Like a quick reference card?
Yeah.
Always handy.
Quick reference sheet. Yeah. Hey, this is where you go to find out how that works.
Best dang thing about the new Necromunda box was including a better quick reference card.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So this is really solid. Especially, assumedly, you're like, okay, I'm going to play Starfinder, but I'm playing it with people who have no idea what a RPG is.
It is a beginner box.
It is
not
a starter set, not a veterans quick box guide.
Well, we come from GW land where quick starter sets and boxes like that are really meant to be bought 20 times by people who just want to get into the army.
So here's a blank character sheet, and it has everything you need to know in the box. It'll tell you, this is where you go for this and that and the other thing. Spells in reverse on the other side. These are the blank ones.
What are those made of?
Paper.
Okay, so they're meant to be written directly on.
Oh, yeah.
Or but you can photocopy them.
Yeah, they're meant to be photocopied, and Done.
They don't say don't photocopy this or we'll kill you.
Nope.
Permission granted to photocopy for personal use only.
What defines personal use? That's up to you.
That's between you and your god.
Yeah. Speaking of gods, well, yeah, actually. So hey, it's like here's the basics of how you do this, dum-dum. You choose your race, you choose your theme, and you choose your class. From there, you just generate your ability score, add up your resolve points. Now, resolve is different than like hero points or whatever. It's a limited resource that everybody gets to have. You spend a resolve to get your stamina back after combat, or you can use it to activate your special abilities once you get higher up. But everybody gets stamina, and it's all based on certain things. Yeah. So stamina is what the amount of damage that you can take before you take a crit, like basically a telling mortal blow. And once you run out of stamina, then you're getting into hit points, which are much harder to heal than you'd expect. But that is the how-to guide for how to build a character.
So this book is this is just the hero's handbook, which I'm assuming is like the
this would be like the PHP. But it's
game master should be familiar with the book and the game master's guide. So yeah, to use the D&D analog, which is kind of inescapable.
Yeah.
There are lots of races, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's nice that we have space lizards and space skaven.
Yep, and we also have space giant bugs.
Getting ahead of the curve there. Catch up, one-page rules. No, really, if one-page rules, please release your space skaven so I can buy them.
But yeah, no, the Isoki are actually, they're kind of cute in their own weird way. But yeah, no, and then there's the
Spot the Ink Eyes player. And of course, they just have goblins.
Oh yeah. Goblins like to infest things. If you have a goblin infestation on your space station, you have to put a lot of work into getting rid of them. But now it's worth noting that you can use all these, or you can rebrew all these into different, like, oh man, I don't want to play the Soki rat person. I guess he's just a halfling instead because he fills roughly the same niche as a halfling would, or a ratling maybe. If you're desperate to play a 40K role-playing game but not use the 40K systems. But yeah, what is the lizard guys called?
Vesk.
The Vesk, thank you. Yeah. The Vesk can easily be considered to be orcs or your orc analog.
Something I'm noticing, just because I have a lot of the miniatures, because even though I don't play Starfinder, they have a lot of miniatures also made by WizKids.
Yes.
The Pathfinder deep cuts were what started this, and then they went to Starfinder deep cuts. There are comparatively few, but I believe all of the pre-gens that they have in there are represented as actual miniatures.
I believe that is correct, and if we're right, we'll put them up on the screen right now. And if we're wrong,
like I'm 90% certain there is a rat person mechanic, and I believe I have the bug mystic there,
the Sheeran mystic, and I'm positive I've seen the human envoy there.
Choose it. I like that they've got this for the pre-gens. They've got why would you choose this class?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's obvious, like what is a soldier? Well, a soldier in most RPGs is pretty defined character type.
Yes.
But Envoy might be something different.
Envoy, I tried at one point to align these up with how they are in actual D&D. I cannot. It does not work that way. And they are making a concerted effort to make sure it doesn't line up exactly with those classes, to kind of say, hey, by the way, it's not the same universe as Pathfinder. I mean, it's not the same as Pathfinder, but it's similar.
Well, one of the things that Pathfinder always did that D&D does not bother to do is actually have rules for role-playing in a role-playing game.
Yeah.
D&D is a combat game with a excuse to use whatever role-playing you want on there.
Which is weird, because 4th edition really leaned hard into that, and everybody got mad about it.
Everybody got mad about a lot of things.
No, that's true.
But Pathfinder at least always actually had far more rules and interactions for playing non-combat characters, because there was actually things like that. So an Envoy can actually exist in this kind of system, I'm assuming.
Yes.
But this follows from the same rules as Pathfinder. Whereas, good luck trying to build an actual
not combat monkey. Yeah,
I mean, you can in D&D, but it relies on being charismatic in real life, which seems to defeat the purpose, because a fighter can be if I can play a fighter in D&D without having to fight in real life, it would stand to reason that you could for anything else, but apparently not.
Now, that's not to say that say the Envoy is useless in combat. It has specific things that it does, like to One of the one of the biggest Envoy tricks is get 'em, where they point at a bad guy with they use their entire turn, point at an enemy, and say, I mean, either get 'em or whatever else you want them to say, and everybody bum rushes. If everybody bum rushes them, anybody that attacks that enemy will get a +1 to hit, which is astoundingly rare in Starfinder. It doesn't have advantage and disadvantage. It just has +1s, +2s, and getting anything but your base combat bonuses in this is very, very heavy come by, even at higher levels. So, let's see what else they got in here. Ooh, hey, we got a board.
Some maps, some boards. Good.
Yep, they have a map. They go, not the best map I've seen, but I dare say that it will probably stand the test of time better than some of the Warhammer maps that I've had.
Yeah.
You know,
it's about as glossy.
Mm-hmm. It's about as glossy, and it's a little stiffer.
Which is good.
Yeah, maybe it'll stand up to a grape jelly spill a little bit better. And if you want just to knock the crap out of each other, here's a combat arena.
Or want to make your own.
Or make your own. Yeah, hey, you can use those things that we just picked up.
Or that Kill Team Into the Dark terrain.
Hey, there we go. And then here are all the punch cards. Punchkins, yeah.
Punchkeys?
So as you can... So
it's not Fat Tuesday.
I wish it was. Holy moly. So yeah,
we have lots of monsters, obviously. Lots of...
critters.
Space goblins.
Mm-hmm.
Space pirates. Robot dragons.
Yep. Gray aliens. Garagacals. Aeon guards.
Migos, but no Yugos.
Contemplatives with just a giant brain with an emaciated body. Oops.
Why I flipped that over and expected something different on the
Space
other side.
drow. Well, you never know, right? Dragonkin as opposed to Dragonborn.
Now,
they're different.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that both Pathfinder and Starfinder have a pretty popping business in selling large amounts of standees that come in these supplemental packs.
This is true.
So that's interesting that they give you a taste, and then you can also, because a lot of people don't want to buy miniatures.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to paint miniatures, and they don't want to use unpainted miniatures, even if they are playing on a combat grid, which is understandable because playing with the unpainted miniature can just kind of wreck your sense of immersion, depending on who you are, and that standee might still be better for the sense of immersion than playing with an unpainted miniature. So it is good of them to offer that.
Plus, this means that any standees that you use will be definitely in the same art style, same configuration, same everything that the rest of the stuff is. So it's not like, hey, I've got my cool painted miniature over here, and here's this one that looks like it was painted by a 5-year-old. So you're not having to deal with that dichotomy. So standees can go a long way. And especially considering how many, there's like 3 Alien Archive books out now, which is basically monster manuals. Ain't no way you're getting minis for all those. Sorry, kids.
Well, I was just about to say that I look at the standees set and I see a bunch of minis I would love to paint.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you might not get them all soon, but you probably get them all eventually.
Yeah, someday.
Or, if you have a 3D printer, I would bet that the vast majority of these races are represented in some way or some form by someone who does play Starfinder and didn't want to wait around for official minis.
I'll just bet, yeah. But yeah, so okay, bunch of standees to pop out, la-di-da. Game Master's Guide includes
well, it's not a Game Master's Guide. Oh, that is the Game Master's Guide.
This is the Game Master's Guide.
Oh, so it does come with a Game Master's Guide additionally. All right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Game Master's Guide. Oh, no, this isn't the full Game Master's
Guide. That's what I was... that's not the full one. It's a, a taster.
A cut down one. Yeah, so it's worth noting that
this is our Starfinder charcuterie board.
Ooh. Delicious. So these 2 books together, along with a bunch more fluff and a bunch more weapons, basically make up the majority of the original core rule book. And then there's also, by the way, here's this adventure that you can play through it.
Right, like a starter adventure.
The starter adventure, yeah.
Lost Mines of Phandelver.
Mm-hmm. Currently out of print.
As we discovered today.
It's a shame because it's a good little
they replaced
adventure.
It with something else. But.
Yeah. So, combat reference guide, leveling up, conditions, choose a target. Starship combat in Starfinder is really cool. It's also like really, really clunky, because kind of it has to be. But here is an ad for the Starfinder Society, which is like the Pathfinder Society.
Except in space.
Well, I mean, yeah, except for this game.
It's probably the next door over at the con you go to.
It's next door, nothing.
No, it's just in the same room?
Yeah, same room.
Well, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Maybe they've got enough people that's they only need 2 rooms,
Well, most of the people who played Pathfinder play Starfinder.
Oh, so they just don't schedule them at the same time?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
They just like rotate out. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
I didn't look into that at Gen Con.
I did. I didn't play, but I thought that might have been neat. All right, so Starfinder box goes back together very neatly. Short solo adventure. We didn't look too deep in the adventure because I actually want to play this at some point.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
I imagine you do.
Yeah.
So this has the same issue I have with most starter boxes. Is
Yes.
that eventually I would, if I'm going to, this is the thing where it's nice if someone else owns it, but not that if you had to buy it.
Yeah.
Because if you bought it
and
and you're really into the game,
you're reading it and you know everything that's going to happen, and then all of a sudden you're the DM for life.
well, no, I wasn't going to say that. No, it's that if you
So
like
it's my
it,
problem.
then you're going to have to buy the books themselves, and then this box functionally becomes useless.
Yes.
Because you could just use the books themselves.
Right.
But that's very much a me thing. This is probably great for just keeping this as a self-contained thing, and like you can bring this over to somebody's house and say, "Hey, I would like to play."
Hey, let's play Starfinder for the evening. Yeah.
Right, and then it's all contained. You don't have to like design a starter adventure to get your friends into Starfinder.
And it's also worth noting that Starfinder is designed specifically around campaign play out of the adventure paths. That's what it's balanced for. That's what it's like. They put a lot more. I hate to say they put a lot more work into it, but they put a lot more care and affection into making sure that the adventure paths are interesting and engaging and expand the universe in one way or another.
The adventure paths, I assume, are campaign books.
Campaign books, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, adventure paths. They're basically self-contained stories.
Okay, so you're kind of supposed to. It's somewhat like a.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Curse City or Blackstone Fortress.
Kind of.
Sorry, I want to use a reference people actually know. It's prescribed adventures you're kind of supposed to play through the Starfinder.
Yeah,
almost like a video game. You're supposed to play this RPG through the levels that you're supposed to. Less of a focus on creating your own worlds.
Yeah,
which seems kind of a missed opportunity there, because the nice thing about space is that unlike, if you want to create your own continent in the Forgotten Realms, you're gonna have to do a lot of work to figure out why does this place exist and why has nobody heard of it before.
Magic, shut up.
Right, which always possible, people do. But the nice thing about a galaxy is that it is large.
Yeah, very, very large, very friendly to planets just popping up out of nowhere.
We didn't know this planet was here. There was a pulsar in the way.
We didn't know this planet was here. The data archives on all this stuff has literally been erased.
Count Dooku deleted them all.
Yeah. Well, it's worth noting that so spoilers for Starfinder, there is a huge gap of time where nobody remembers anything that happened, not even the elves. That's just like their kind of like bump forward. Like, why? Okay, so the gap happened, right? Yeah. We were like a medieval Renaissance society. Yeah. And now we're in space. Yeah. How? Gap. Maybe. It's never explained, but it's just like, kind of a set dressing. But yeah, no, Starfinder has a lot of set dressing that is very specific to the core setting, whereas D&D has, you can play in the Forgotten Realms, you can play in Eberron, but it's not necessary that you do so. Whereas Pathfinder and its setting, Galarian? I think so, yeah. And Starfinder and its setting, the Pact Worlds, are integral to the characters and also to the way that any of your classes work.
To be fair, I think that is also true of D&D. It's just that D&D has such a long history of people homebreeing that it's more accepted to kind of throw that out the window. Like, all of the cleric stuff breaks down completely if you're not using. It's only 5th edition that really wrote, you could actually kind of use anything. But even then, they still use, the clerical of justice or tier or something like that.
Yeah, they use it.
Storm clerics being, Umberly or whatever. that's only very recent. That's a very recent thing that they actually started bothering to write that into their rules, and that's because they have such a long history of homebrew. So in reality, D&D really does still want you to play in Forgotten Realms or one of the prescribed points.
Yeah, they want you to go to Ravenloft. If you're gonna fight Strahd, go to Ravenloft. If you're gonna go have some Warforged farting around, go to Eberron. If you're gonna play in Greyhawk, go to Greyhawk, sort of thing. But they keep the actual writing in the books vague enough that it's not a deal breaker if you don't. Right. Whereas it's not totally a deal breaker, but you are cutting yourself off from specifically very good and interesting content.
I think it's
a well fleshed out
D&D
world.
is the exception rather than the rule.
Oh yeah,
it's just that D&D is so large that becomes the rule. I think most RPGs that are not D&D, or even most RPG supplements to D&D, are written with this kind of thing in mind. It's like play in the universe that this is.
Play in the adventure,
because that makes the characters and the story make sense. Otherwise, it's just rules. And if you just want rules, play GURPS. And you hate yourself.
Yeah. Well, we can have a long talk about why some people wouldn't be caught dead playing GURPS.
I have never met someone who actually plays GURPS.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I know where to get the books for it.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
GURPS is a rule system and not a game.
Yeah. But yeah.
But this is a game.
This is a game. This is actually a game that has a very robust rule system. And it's kind of killy. Like if your characters might get iced that first couple of turns out. Sorry, Charlie.
All right.
Watch out for any monster that has character levels because they will kill you. But yeah, if you're looking for a good time, you don't want to play D&D, you're tired of D&D, you don't want to get into a completely different rule system. Starfinder, this little beginner box here, may scratch that itch for you. It'll wet your whistle, and if you want to get into it fully. After you play through this thing, there's the core rule book that will show you how to get to level 20 instead of just level, I think, 1 through
5, I think.
5? Yeah, 5-ish. But yeah, just give it a shot. See what happens. Maybe this is the Christmas present that finally brings your family together as a role-playing game group.
I can think of nothing I would like less than to play Starfinder or any RPG with my family.
That's fair.
But that might be a me problem.
That might be a you problem. But yeah, hey, if you're a big fan of Starfinder, if you think that Starfinder does what Spelljammer don't, I don't know, I'm trying, man. Please leave a comment.
I guess.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Talk to us about it. If you have any good experiences with Starfinder Society or Pathfinder Society, I'd love to hear about them, just because I don't know thing one about it, because that's too structured for me and my brain won't accept it. But yeah, if you've played Starfinder and you liked it, awesome. If you want to see us play Starfinder, please let us know. We'll wrangle up some of the board game guys, just knock out a couple of missions of this, see if it goes, and if not, please tell us anyway. And other than that, we'll see you next time. I've been CJ. That's Josh. Catch you next time on the Miniatures Rundown.